Next question is from Connor Nagel 07. Should teenagers focus on aesthetics after being introduced to resistance training? And should they monitor their relative caloric and protein intake to accommodate their fitness goals?
Okay, so let's answer the first part, which is aesthetics. Now, being a teenager is probably
good luck telling them not to.
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
right?
That's like I would say
Stop that.
That's when you start to get to the peak of insecurities. I would say teenagers start to become aware of a lot of these different types of things. I think one of the keys with fitness, I used to train a lot of teenagers. One of the most beneficial things I did for teenagers was to get their focus off of their aesthetics and move it more towards things like strength, mobility, and how they felt, because they already focus so much on how they look. If you turn their workout into how you look, if it's all about how you look, you are very likely to create a negative relationship with exercise and resistance training. This is where body image issues, because here's the thing with working out. Working out can either really help you with your body image issue, or it can be just as powerful in the opposite direction and create really, really bad relationships and habits to where you might have been a little insecure about your body, but now because it's all about your body, you blow up this insecurity. You know, I've trained, bikini competitors, and I've trained a couple male competitors, and they told me that their body image issues got far worse when they were competing because they
exaggerates it.
It was all about how they looked. The judges were constantly looking at and critiquing their bodies. In fact, when I train teenagers, I don't ask them. I never ask them. So I'll do this with adults. Like, okay, well, what areas do you want to focus on? Yeah. How much weight do you want to lose? What are areas of your body you'd like to shape and sculpt? I don't even ask those questions of teenagers. It's not even a question. I don't say to a teenager, how much weight do you want to lose and what part of your body?
Teach them the fundamentals.
Yeah, do you want to shape and sculpt? That's not my question. I'll say, what are your goals? And if they say something like that, then I'll kind of maneuver around it. But it's all about how you feel, performance, everything.
See, I find this a kind of a difficult one to answer, and maybe I'll be more qualified when my son is at this age. Now, I feel, Sal, you're going through this right now, so I think you're more than qualified and maybe can share like the conversations you have with your son. Because there's the other side of me that like, hey, if you're a kid, like if my son, which is a good chance that he'll grow up to be very skinny and lean and tall like I was, and he starts to piece together that he can change that through lifting weights, and he wants to, I feel like there will be a very fine dance I will have to try and do. Like, I know that I want to give him those tools. Like, I don't want to be like, son, I'm not going to teach you how to lift or eat to build muscle or to look a certain way when you want that, right? If that's what he's asking to do. So, but then I also want to educate him on the dangers of that, of going down that and allowing those insecurities to drive his motivation. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, as a father, I hope that he's so into basketball that all of our workout conversations around performance. But I have to be realistic and think that there's a good chance that might not happen.
Yeah, I'm not saying be afraid. I think that will also do the same thing. If it's like, oh, hey, Dad, how do I get my arms bigger? And you're obviously avoiding that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's got to be like a fine dance because, because there's a positive side. How cool is that if you're a dad who's or a mother who is a trainer and you have that knowledge and you have a daughter or a son that, you know, they want to start sculpting and building their physique and they admire what maybe you've done your entire career or life or the way you maintain yourself as a 50-year-old adult or whatever. Like, you know, so maybe now they're interested in that. There's the part of me that wants to give him that gift. Like I had to learn a lot of hard lessons, you know, through 20 years of lifting that I could hopefully fast track him to, you know, the ideal way to eat and train early. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to give that to him, but then also understanding that also can lead to some major insecurities. And so, yeah, I feel like there's going to be kind of a little bit of a dance there. It's so different than when I have a parent who hires me to train their kid for whatever reasons. That's one thing, but having this conversation with my son, I think will present different challenges.
I've had this already. So my son, you know, we were working out, I don't know, it was like a month ago, and he's like, hey, how do I get my arms bigger? And so my response is, okay, if you get stronger at pull-ups and at bench press, then the side effect of that is bigger arms. That's the conversation. That's how I bring it up. What I don't think is a good idea is to teach them how to break their body down. Okay, so you need more delts here. And maybe if your pecs got a little bit better
so they get all neurotic
and bigger.
About it.
Exactly. Yeah. But if they focus on things like, how can I get stronger? How can I move better? Mm-hmm. The side effect of that being, I'm going to look a certain way. I think that's a healthier approach. Now, as far as calories and proteins are concerned, I think it's important that you educate them on what those mean, but I also think it's important that you don't create this crazy monitoring structure with their food where they're counting things. But I'll have conversations like this with my kids where they'll say, hey, can we have, pasta for dinner? I'm like, we got to have a little bit more balance. We had more carbohydrates this morning, so I think tonight we're going to have more proteins and fats. Or I'll say things like proteins and fats are essential. Your body needs those, so we're going to hit those first. Carbohydrates, not bad, but they're not essential. So, it's not as important that we, seek those out, for example. Or, this food provides this particular nutrient. This is a good idea that we eat this because, maybe you're getting a cold or something like that. So when it comes to that conversation, I'll do that. But the like tracking and like count those things and you got to hit these numbers. I don't know if that's necessarily a good path to go down. Really, with
trying to bring it back to like healthier conversations about macronutrients and like how it benefits your body overall. I mean, same as I look at with like the pursuit of having bigger arms or like having shredded abs. I know, this is just stuff that kids even talk about at school already, and I think it's just because of Instagram, and it's because of things where. People notice things about bodies early on, and they're like, "Why does he look that way?" And so, I mean, I'm already having these conversations with my kids, and so it's just one of those things. I try to like understand that these are pursuits that some kids have, and they like the fact that like maybe they're showing off their muscles at the pool or whatever, but. Trying to bring it back to a healthier objective of that. If that's benefiting their overall health, then there's nothing wrong with that.
I can already see though that my kids like so much less insecure than I was. He doesn't really display the insecurities that I did. He kind of doesn't care. He'll try out for sports teams. Doesn't care about what happens. He'll work out. It's not a big deal. I at his age was like when it was hitting at a super high level, and I was just in the backyard working out 2 hours a day because of those insecurities. So I think a lot of it has to do also with just how they are with their parents and how secure they feel with being themselves.